When you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, I consider them to be fools.
What happens when a U.S. Senator finally says what millions of Americans have been thinking? This week, Senator John Kennedy didn't hold back. He called out AOC and the Squad in one of the boldest statements we've heard all year. Was he out of line, or just telling the truth about what's happening in Washington? We're breaking it all down right now. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here we cut through the noise and get straight to what really matters for America's future.
Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. When you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. When your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. Just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. They think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our political breakdowns. Every week we dive deep into the stories shaping America without the spin. So let's talk about what happened this week in Washington. Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana made headlines for some very blunt comments about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, better known as the Squad. Now, Kennedy isn't someone who minces words, and this time was no exception. During an interview, he said, "When you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two." And yes, he was referring directly to members of the Squad. He accused them of pushing ideas that he says are fundamentally un-American, things like open borders, higher taxes, and expanding government power, while criticizing free enterprise and traditional values. Kennedy went on to say that the Squad often paints America as evil or racist, rather than recognizing the opportunities and freedoms this country provides. He argued that, instead of condemning America's past, they should be grateful for the progress and liberty the nation stands for. It's a strong statement, one that touches on a larger cultural and political divide. For years now, there's been a growing tension between traditional American values and the far-left movement within the Democratic Party. Kennedy's comments point directly to that fault line. He also argued that the Squad is actually damaging the Democratic Party from within, suggesting that their extreme policies are pushing away average voters. He even joked that, if he didn't know better, he'd think they were helping Republicans by accident. Now, whether you agree with Kennedy or not, this moment captures something real about today's politics. The Democratic Party is divided between moderates who still believe in balance and pragmatism and progressives who want to overhaul nearly every institution, from policing to the economy. Kennedy's criticism lands because many Americans are frustrated with what they see as constant negativity about the country. He defended the idea that if someone truly hates America, they're free to live elsewhere, echoing a common conservative belief that criticism should come with appreciation for the freedoms that make criticism possible. But beyond the rhetoric, this raises real questions about direction and identity. What kind of country do we want to be? One that celebrates its strengths and works to improve, or one that defines itself by its flaws? Kennedy's remarks are harsh, yes, but they force a national conversation about patriotism, gratitude, and responsibility. And that's what makes this exchange worth discussing. You don't have to agree with everything Kennedy said to recognize that his frustration reflects a larger public sentiment, that America, despite its imperfections, deserves respect, not constant condemnation. At the end of the day, politics isn't about who shouts the loudest. It's about which ideas can actually make life better for the people who live here. Kennedy believes the Squad's policies would hurt the country. The Squad believes they're fighting for justice and reform. The truth is, voters will decide which vision of America they believe in. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown informative, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below. Do you think Kennedy went too far, or do you think he said what many Americans are already thinking? Let's talk about it in the comments.